Hey, the Eagles are 4-0. But this is the most confusing team I think I've ever seen in my 30 years of watching NFL football. I don't understand how I am seeing two completely different football teams each half. Against the Rams, we looked like we didn't want to do anything the first half. Then all of a sudden, the second half, we looked like Super Bowl champions. Opening up the field, Hurts is diming guys all over the field. The very next week, we are smacking the Bucs. Smacking these boys. I mean, it looked like we were on our way to a 50-piece. They couldn't do anything. And in the second half, we completely close the playbook, lose everything, all momentum, and almost lose the damn game after being up 31-3? What the Eagles did today is called bonking. I want you guys to know this. This is a term amongst cyclists. Yeah, for those who don't know, I'm a cyclist now. And if you go on a long ride, right, like 30, 40 miles, and you don't fuel properly, about halfway through the ride, your energy stores completely deplete, and you can't even hardly make it back home. That's called bonking. That's what the Eagles did today. They bonked at halftime the Philadelphia Bonkers. How are you dominating a game like that in the first half, and you can't do absolutely anything in the second? Let me show you guys something for those that haven't seen it. Jalen Hurts' first half stats: 15 for 16, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, 42 rushing yards, 172 total. Controlled the first half. Great calls at the line of scrimmage. Quick answers for the blitz with his arms and his legs. And I was in my family group chat talking shit because there's some Jalen Hurts haters in there. And when he rolled out to his left on that 3rd and 2 and hit Devontae Smith with a perfect dime, leading him on the run, making the throw on the run and leading the receiver at the same time. Incredibly accurate rolling out of the pocket. And I thought it was great that Hurts didn't look to run there. He was still kept his eyes downfield and made the play. And I was like, look at that elite pass by Jalen Hurts, everybody. He was looking, I think I made a tweet that said Jalen Hurts might be the MVP of the NFL this season during the first half. Now, people tell me that all I do is overreact, and I clearly overreacted to the first half because the second half wasn't even the exact opposite of the first half. It was like worse than the opposite. How do you have 130? Look at this, bro. 130 passing yards in the first half. The Eagles' total passing yards for the game, 112. You're telling me the Eagles had minus 18 passing yards in the second half? Minus 18? In the entire second half, and a lot of it was on Jalen Hurts. I thought he was god-awful in his decision-making in the second half. But how does a coaching staff not figure something out for an entire second half after playing like that in the first? How does Sirianni and Pilates, Pizza Face, how do these guys not come together and say, okay, this ain't working, let's try this instead? That's what always confuses me about this team. It seems like there's a plan and they just do the same thing over and over. I don't get that. You had negative 18 passing yards in the second half. If that's wrong, let me know in the chat. But my calculations, 130 minus 112 is 18. I'm not a mathematician, but I think that's what it is. Right? And so I'm just totally confused. And when it comes to Jalen Hurts, how are you throwing dimes all over the field, left and right in the first half? Dallas Goedert here, Devontae Smith over here. And then the second half, you turn into what looks like a 9-year-old playing Madden, just throwing the ball to A.J. Brown every play. Bro, one of the 3-and-outs, and by the way, I think the Eagles had 7 3-and-outs in the second half. I stopped counting after 3 in a row. They had 3 3-and-outs in a row. I stopped counting after that. But one of the 3-and-outs was a throw to A.J. Brown in double coverage, not once, not twice, but 3 times in a row. How does that happen? Not just by the play calling, but the quarterback's decision making. It felt like a kid just hiking the ball and hitting whatever button is A.J. Brown every play. You're lucky you didn't throw 2 interceptions there. I mean, you can only throw 1 interception per series, but you know what I'm saying. Totally confused by all of that. Saquon Barkley, unfortunately, it seems like there's a Madden curse. Cover Madden, the cool backwards hurdle, and now Saquon has like 240 yards in 4 games, which is way below his average from last season. Maybe it's Jason Kelce retiring. We knew Jason Kelce was great, but I don't know if I knew the impact would decline that much in the running game, you know? But the MVP of this game is the defense. The Eagles had no business winning this game. Absolutely zero business winning this game after collapsing the way that they did at halftime. I'm still stuck on that. I think the Bucs made adjustments at halftime and the Eagles threw a party and ate donuts or something. I don't know. No, the sugar from the donuts would have given them some energy. They didn't have any energy. But the defense was the MVP in this game. Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Zach Bond. Dudes just making plays left and right. And they were showing on the sideline, you know, the guys holding the shade over because it was 100 degrees. The defense, I don't think sports shows, sports channels, or sports podcasts, or whatever it is these days, I don't think the national people are going to state enough. I don't even think the local people are going to state enough what the Eagles defense did in this game. They had 2 things working against them in the second half. The sun, it was 100 degrees, right? They got some interns or somebody, some parts of the coaching staff holding a shade over them on the sideline. So it's 100 degrees. They're absolutely getting cooked by the sun. And then you have the offense going 3-and-out every single possession. The defense was on the field 95% of the time the entire second half, and they still found ways to come up with major stops. You have to give the MVP of this game to the Eagles defense. You have to tip your hat to them, give them the game ball. I'm not going to say a specific player, but it's unreal what the defense did to stop the Bucs from winning this game after the Eagles offense completely collapsed. It's unreal with the Heat working against them and the Eagles offense working against them for them to come up with the stops that they came up with. Some Quinion Mitchell ridiculous deflection in the end zone. A Zach Bond stop on 3rd and 1 that was just insane, where he reads the play way ahead of time and gets ahead of the pulling guard. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. But the Eagles as a team need to figure something out, because I feel how I felt in 2022. Tell me what year I'm talking about, where the Eagles started 10-1 and then totally collapsed, right? Because ever since COVID, I don't even know what year it is. Everything just runs together. But you know that 2022, I think, or 23, 2 years ago, where they started 10-1 and then they completely collapsed, and all of the wins felt like this, right? And all the fans were unhappy about it. And the people that weren't really watching every possession of every game were saying to us, how are you so negative? You know what you got. You do the same thing to me with the Sixers, bro. You do the same thing to me with the Sixers. When I'm not feeling good about how they're winning games, it's because I don't think these wins are sustainable because as soon as you start to play good teams, especially in the playoffs, you're going to run into a brick wall. And 2 years ago, I felt that same way. I was like, yeah, they're 10-1, but they kind of suck when you really watch it. You know what I'm saying? They're squeaking out wins by the skin of their teeth. That's how I feel this season so far. It's been totally inconsistent. Yes, they are 4-0. And, you know, I know we do the whole parade with Nick Sirianni. I'm not about entertainment. I'm about winning football games. And I feel like we're going to do that whole same thing again where we're like, listen, they're winning, okay? It's not pretty. It's not pretty, but they're winning, but they're getting win. Well, I kind of need it to be a little bit prettier to feel good about the playoffs, okay? Because you don't get to play Baker midfield every game. And by the way, I tweeted Baker midfield, and he immediately turned into Joe fucking Montana for the rest of the game. I thought the one long bomb, the 77-yarder, was a lucky one where the Eagles safety made a terrible read on it and basically did a 360 and left the receiver wide open. By the way, hashtag sign CJ. Then he hits another one for 72, which was just like a double move down the sideline, and everybody got beat. I still felt like it was Baker Mayfield had like, okay, two, I'm not going to say lucky, but favorable plays, right? But realistically, the Eagles were dominating the game. And then it started to become clear to me like, oh, shit. All the momentum changed, and the Bucs might win this game. And the Eagles come up with some massive, massive stops. A terrible Baker Mayfield interception in the end zone basically saved us. You know, even though I'm an Eagles fan, I'm going to say the Bucs lost that game. The Eagles didn't win that game. The Bucs lost that game. You know, I think Baker Mayfield had a good second half, but when it came down to it, he made a huge mistake that lost the game for the Bucs. So as far as I'm concerned, he's still Baker midfield. Eagles squeak out a win. I don't know how. And let me see. I took some notes, man. The taunting call on Cooper DeJean in the first half. I don't want to do this every week, but I'm very confused. Who is the NFL targeting as a market? Your fan base is 75% men. Not that women don't watch football, but I just think that most of the fan base, and even women that watch football, also like the physicality of it. My grandma used to say, I don't watch football, it's too violent, you know. But for the most part, all football fans like the physicality of the game. Let these players talk some shit. What? I don't understand what the thought process is there with the NFL when they're like, hey, we really got to stop guys from talking shit after the play. Why? What fucking dweeb nerd in the NFL meeting came up with that idea? You know? What fucking captain of the chess club in the back corner was like, hey guys, I got an idea. We should stop guys from taunting after plays because it's really mean and it hurts my feelings. Dude makes a big time stop on a third down and steps over a guy at 15 yards taunting. That is just pathetic pussy ball, dude. I'm not here to watch pussy ball, man. If I wanted to watch powder puff football, I would go to one of those at my local high school. Anyway. Yeah, that's ridiculous. And on top of that, what is taunting? Because if you tackle a guy and make a big play and celebrate and step over him, it's taunting, right? But then Baker Mayfield can walk up to our defenders, chomping in their, spitting in their faces like that, right in their. So you're allowed to walk up to a guy, face mask to face mask, and talk mad shit, and basically start a fight on the field. No personal foul. But you celebrate a good play, it's a personal foul. NFL, figure it the fuck out, dude, because it's getting ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous. I wanted to rant about that for a little bit. I thought the refs were horrible in this game for the most part, but I'm not blaming anything on the referees. The Eagles should have lost the game. The defense won the game for them, or Baker Mayfield's interception in the end zone won the game for them. I guess the good thing is we've seen a lot of good in the second half of the Rams game. We saw a lot of good in the first half of this game. Through the season, I'm not overreacting. I'm not saying the Eagles aren't going to go far and don't have a chance to win another Super Bowl. They very much do. But throughout the season, maybe they figure it out and they get two halves of good football to make a whole, good game. But so far in 4 games, we haven't seen a complete game from the Philadelphia Eagles. But maybe we will. Maybe we will. Big stop on 4th and 9 to seal it. But man, I don't know how this team, it doesn't even look like the same team half to half. I don't know what's going on back there. I don't know if Pilates, Pizza Face, I don't know if he stopped calling plays in the first half of the Rams game and then we won. And then the Eagles had a good first half of this game and then Pizza Face started calling plays for the second half. I don't know. They had some incredibly creative end zone scores in this game. That's a thing that we could take away from it, right? The pitch screens to Goddard, 2 sneaky pitch screens to Goddard for touchdowns, and the fake tush push. I've been saying this, I feel like since last year, that they should fake the tush push because it seems like it would be easy to score by running a fake tush push, and they did it today, got Saquon in the end zone. But yeah, they got to get it together and figure it out to put a whole game together because I don't think this is sustainable winning football. But they are 4-0. Thank you guys for listening to me. Go Birds.